Hello, my name is Dr. Stephen Critchlow. I'm a psychiatrist and I've also been a church pastor. I'm doing a series of mental health talks, 5-minute videos, and this is on the epidemic of loneliness. Loneliness is a very big problem in our Western society. Loneliness really is lack of relationship, lack of intimacy. So you can actually be lonely in a crowd because you don't have relationship. It's different from solitude. Solitude can be a choice and can be quite creative, and loners often make things happen. But there is a recognition that loneliness is a huge problem in our society. The Mental Health Foundation in 2010 put out a paper called The Lonely Society. 3/4 of GPs see about 1 to 5 people every day, and the main problem is loneliness. And it's estimated that up to 1/5 of people feel lonely most of the time. Childline reported back in 2009 that children are complaining of a lot of loneliness, and they'd said the rate had tripled over the last few years. So loneliness is a huge problem in our current society. And of course you might say, well, there's all kinds of reasons for that. People move away from their home society. People move away to study or for a job and then often stay in a new situation. Separation is a huge problem. Separation, divorce, bereavement, huge problems, leaving people on their own. And of course, the high divorce rate is a problem to us. Leaving home to study or moving into a care environment are often very lonely times. I can think of being in care homes in the past where elderly people are gathered around in a circle with a television blaring in the centre, but you sense there's no real relationship between them, although hopefully that situation will change. Of course, people feel discriminated against, and that can lead to loneliness. People who are mentally unwell find it difficult to make relationships. Those who are in prison, obviously, are incredibly lonely. And asylum seekers are very much on their own, lonely people very often. I have a friend who is away from his 4 children who are thousands of miles away, and his wife was sadly murdered by an extremist group, and he feels that acutely and severely almost every day, if not many times a day. Of course, loneliness too is due to childhood problems, sometimes loss and trauma, or very negative, critical or harsh parenting can lead people to feel very lonely. So what can the Christian faith help? How can it help people who are lonely? Well, the first thing is that sometimes we need to acknowledge where we're at, to face the issue. King David acknowledged that he was lonely. In Psalm 25, verse 16 to 18, he says this, "Turn to me and be gracious to me, for I am lonely and afflicted. Relieve the troubles of my heart and free me from my anguish. Look on my affliction and distress and take away all my sins." David there is crying out to God for grace and mercy, to relieve the troubles of his heart, but also praying to God that he would take away his sins and heal him and bless him. And you know, one of the first things we can do is turn to the Lord and say, "Lord, forgive me, for I'm sinful. Forgive my sins." And secondly, come and live in my life and be real in me, and then I can know your love and your forgiveness. I'm going to move for a minute just to these 4 symbols that I wear on my wrist. The heart shows that we're loved of God. The cross shows that we've all gone wrong in our lives. The cross of Jesus shows that we're tremendously loved. And the question mark is, will you actually follow the Lord Jesus Christ in your life? That's a challenge for you today, and I hope that you'll be able to respond to it. I'll say more about it on another video. Thank you.